It was a fun weekend of wrestling coming off of Crown Jewel. And we'll talk a lot about Crown Jewel on Friday's podcast, but there is some things that I want to touch on today, and that first being Logan Paul, the former YouTuber who has dabbled in boxing and now pro wrestling, announced Saturday night that on social media he tore his MCL and his meniscus and potentially tore his ACL in his WWE main event with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. The announcement came with a photo of Paul elevating and icing his right knee. This sucks because he went out there and he put on a show. I think it's time for the IWC. I think it's time for the hardcore drones of the WWE. I think it's time that you just have to admit Logan Paul belongs. I said it all last week. I almost went as far as predicting him to win the match. At the last minute, I backed off and went with the common sense decision of Roman Reigns would retain. But you have to admit at this point, Logan Paul works in WWE. He is a showman. He gets it. Even the simplicity of that match, because I get it. One of the arguments against that match is going to be, it was a lot of simple moves. But do you see the level at which Logan was able to sell that simple of a match? Imagine the better he gets. He already has, I think, the hardest part of it down, which is the storytelling, the ability to work the crowd, the ability to be a showman, and the ability to just belong. And truth be told, if you want to be real honest about Crown Jewel, which I said we'll talk more about Friday, but I do want to talk about this a little bit right now, is outside of anyone named Roman Reigns, I find it hard to name a better performer that night than Logan Paul. I don't think Bianca Belair was better. I don't think Bayley was better. I don't think Drew McIntyre was better. I don't think Karrion Kross was better. I have a hard time outside of Roman Reigns naming somebody who I thought put on a better performance than Logan Paul. He sold it. I think overall Crown Jewel was a mediocre show. It was a little bit of a money grab. It was a little bit of a big names, pay attention, which is what Crown Jewel tends to be. I think Logan and Roman saved the night. And I do think at this point, when we talk about, as we come closer to December and we get closer to our year-end awards, I think that realistically, Logan Paul has to be the front runner for Rookie of the Year. Now, I get it. There's some other names we're going to have to talk about. And when we really sit down and break it down, there's probably other names that have had more matches that might be deserving. But has anybody had a bigger impact than Logan in just 3 matches? I don't think it's possible. And unfortunately for people like Pat McAfee had a huge year as far as wrestling is concerned, but it's not a Logan Paul sized year. And that slingshot lariat he did, that we got to talk about it. The slingshot lariat that CM Punk couldn't pull off twice in AEW, and Logan Paul makes it look easy. You guys, this is, when we talk about Logan Paul, and y'all keep trying to compare him to David Arquette and other celebrities, this is where the difference is, right? Logan is in the gym putting in the work. Logan has a passion for this business. So when he can perform that move at that high of a level, which I dare to say, I think it even looked better than Adam Page's, because sometimes I think Adam Page's doesn't look effective. The way he used it and where he used it in that match felt very, very effective. So I think that we have to talk about Logan doing these things and being able to perform it, and the iconic jump off of the top ropes was just phenomenal. It is so unfortunate at this point that after the match, we're not just praising Logan Paul, but now we have to talk about injuries, which may add to the mystique of Logan Paul a little bit. Don't get me wrong. But it's unfortunate now that we have to play the game of, all right, so what's next for Logan, right? Because if you start to break down these injuries, an MCL is 6 weeks. So if we get confirmed that it's just an MCL, that's 6 weeks, cool. A month and a half, he'll be back up and running. A meniscus is a little more dirty, right? A meniscus is 3 to 6 months. So if we're really talking about a meniscus, and we don't know, we don't have any official. We have Logan speaking on Instagram and telling us what is wrong with him. When we get more official word of what this is, we can put together a timeline. But meniscus is 3 to 6 months. Now, if we're talking ACL, which he threw ACL out there, he said, don't worry, I just had an MCL, meniscus, and possibly ACL. ACL injuries are 9 to 12 months to return from. Now, that's all dependent on who you are and how quickly you heal, but 9 to 12 is a pretty safe average there. So we're talking, I mean, Logan's out anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 months. So we hope he gets better. I can't pinpoint at what part of the match he actually got hurt. I watched it the first time, and then I watched it back knowing he was injured, and I couldn't pinpoint the part of the match where it actually happened, and because he never slowed down. All the way up until the end, he was jumping and flipping and doing the splits and pulling off big moves. So I couldn't figure out where exactly it happened. What I do know is that the video posted on YouTube of Logan doing that epic jump off the top rope, holding the cell phone onto Roman Reigns, that's got 37 million views. And the IWC wants to tell me that there was never, ever a discussion for Logan Paul winning this championship. Come on, man. This is the kind of numbers that Logan Paul brings in. It might not have been a realistic discussion, but at some point, people have to discuss how important he is to WWE and the amount of eyeballs that he puts on the product that aren't already there. It's just phenomenal. Last thing I want to kind of touch on Crown Jewel that I thought was really cool that before Friday is those drones were fucking phenomenal. Like, that might have been the coolest part of Crown Jewel was those 2,000 drones that they used during the entrances. That should be a staple of every open air WWE event from here on out. There should just be a mandatory 2,000 drones. That was so phenomenal. If you did not watch Crown Jewel, just go look up at least the drones, the way they did Bianca Belair, the way they did Bray Wyatt, the way they did Logan and Roman. It was so cool.